Hi, this is Sanjay Sampath. I am a very big fan of Narendra Modi, Subramaniam Swamy, and some of the leaders at the BJP. Actually, in Houston, Texas, I've been here for close to about 15 years. At the same time, I take a lot of interest in what goes on with India and its aspirations to become a global superpower. I'd like to consider myself a citizen of both India and the US at this point of time. And here are my thoughts about the Indian politics this week, especially with all the questions about Indian Americans and their patriotism and the associated details. Well, first of all, let me cover three incidents that have happened this particular week, each of which has been critical for India's fortunes in the global race. The first one is the NSG and the membership into the nuclear suppliers group, which was blocked by China and a few other supporting nations. The reasons to me seem pretty clear. China doesn't want to see India as a superpower just yet. And the second reason is China's fear of India's increasing closeness with the US and what it could mean for China's aspirations, not just in the South China Sea, but in the Indian Ocean. And and therefore it's not surprising that not only did it block India's entry, but also was able to influence certain other countries to prevent that from happening. So I still think that India is eventually going to get into the nuclear suppliers group, but it just means that the wait is a little longer. And it'll be very interesting to see how things pan out in the next few days on that. The second thing was the whole exit of Britain from the European Union. I still think that in the mid to long term, that's more hype. And it's the whole concept of the world is flat. Well, not really. The world is still uneven. It's still got clusters of mountains and valleys and rivers, and to some extent you cannot fault the cause of a local segment of the population to feel that it deserves to hold its uniqueness. That being said, one of the things that I think the United Kingdom is going to have a problem with is that I don't know if they can sustain their debt levels at the levels that they currently have. I mean, there's a lot of talk about debt versus GDP on the global scale, and there's definitely a lot of talk about that in the US, but it's going to be so much more significant for a smaller country like the United Kingdom, and the implications of that. So I just think that we're starting to see the irrelevance of the United Kingdom in global affairs. That being said, London happens to be still one of my favorite cities in the world, and I still think that there are going to be economic clusters within the United Kingdom that are going to be significantly just doing very well. But then overall, as a country, it seems like the exit probably hurts it more than it helps it. Added to that, you're going to have more conservative immigration policies in the United Kingdom. And studies show that conservative immigration policies, especially with highly skilled labor, actually ends up hurting economies more than it helps it. The third and the most interesting one for me personally is this whole discussion around Raghuram, Rajan and Subramaniam Swamy's attacks on different civil servants, and most of the media attention that I've seen is catered around how Subramaniam Swamy is a villain and he's a loose cannon. Well, I beg to differ. I mean, come to think of it, this guy is almost single-handedly, and no one's ever single-handed in affairs such as this, but this guy almost single-handedly took on the entire system, helped prevent the 2G whistleblower from probably getting killed, in my mind, or collateral damage in preventing the 2G scam from coming out. And essentially, if you look at the auctions over the last 4 years on the 2012, from 2012 on to 2015, my understanding is that India's gotten revenues of almost $50 billion as a result of it. So anytime anyone who's helped generate that much amount of revenues for a country says something, that is something that we gotta perk up both our ears and listen to, because $50 billion is not a small amount by any means. And and that's a significant chunk of what the finance ministry has as its revenues right now. My understanding is that the total income tax from everyone in India is probably lower than the $50 billion. So then the question becomes, why is he doing what he's doing? And I cannot think of any reason other than the fact that Mr. Swamy feels that there are still sources in this particular government. Speculations could be that it's Arun Jaitley, but he's delivered mixed messages on it. Modi trusts Jaitley, even though I don't one bit. But essentially it comes down to, do we have people in today's BJP government and the NDA government that could probably be passing along information to some of these black money holders, and essentially scuttling Swamy's efforts to try and get back some of the black money for India, which was actually a poll promise delivered by Narendra Modi. And which he's not done too much on by entrusting Mr. Jaitley to take care of this issue. But my feeling is that the reason that Swamy is going after the people he's going after is dual. One, his feel, and probably rightly so, that people who are in India have been waiting for their turn, and the concept that people like me who just come back to India and think we are almost entitled to prime positions are probably missing out on the fact that there's a unique and cultural understanding of India that we've missed over the last 10 or 15 years, that people who've been inured in that environment have had. That said, I believe we bring a lot of additional skills. We bring a lot of global skills that the people in India who've never left India have never acquired. But there's some truth to Swamy's point. I mean, he's seen the world. He's been in Harvard, and he's been on numerous foreign missions as a politician as well as a minister and a Lok Sabha representative. So, a lot to be said on that. But my personal feeling is we got to hear Swamy out, and if there are some legitimate accusations that he's throwing at these guys. And one thing I've noticed about him is he's never said anything that he doesn't have some level of proof for. I mean, the Congress tried its best to malign him as someone who just was completely loose cannon and said whatever he wanted. But I've never seen a single statement by Swamy till date which doesn't have at least some level of evidence on it, even though he may not share it necessarily because it may be from confidential sources, and those sources may have been compromised if he were to be open about it without getting their prior approval first. But my point there is that Narendra Modi and Amit Shah need to listen to Swamy's perspective. Maybe some of his methods are more desperate than it needs to be, and I just think there needs to be a mechanism where Jaitley, however unpalatable he may be for me, needs to be a part of a conversation where he, Swamy, and Modi kind of discuss some of the important positions, like the upcoming Reserve Bank Governor of India, who is more or less impartial. That's all I had for today. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you. and I will see you soon. Signing off.